am very excited for this panel. This panel is our Rising Leaders panel. The reason these people were nominated and chosen is because it's one thing to be able to sell a lot of houses. It's another thing to be able to sell a lot of houses and help other agents. So that makes them leaders because they turn around and give back to other people, right? So we're super, super excited to hear from these guys. I'm going to do their bios on your left, far left is Tyrell Taylor in Fayetteville. So Tyrell is a passionate real estate professional, mentor, and community advocate. Started his real estate career in 2021, quickly achieving $2.2 million in sales in the first year. In 2024, returned to EXP and sold 41 homes. Amazing, capped, and he started a team in the first year. And he contributes significantly to building Black Label Access, BLA, alongside the founders, focusing on leadership and mentorship. His experience mentoring agents inspired him to create the TTA Group, which is a team dedicated to elevating real estate professionals. Outside of real estate, he co-leads the Village of Lumberton, NC, a nonprofit supporting at-risk youth. And his mission is to inspire and uplift, building a legacy of hard work and resilience.
That was good.
Okay. And then we have Taylor. Taylor was born and raised in North Carolina. Taylor takes pride in helping families find their perfect place to call home. She became a realtor in 2021. She's had the privilege of guiding over 70 families through the buying and selling process. Beyond serving her clients, Taylor's also a mentor to new agents, helping them navigate the complexities of the real estate industry and build a strong foundation for success. She believes in the power of education and support and loves sharing her experience to help others thrive in the business. When she's not busy showing homes, Taylor enjoys spending time with her husband and their 2 kids. And finally, we have Lauren Wagner. She is a rising star in the real estate leadership with over $20 million in sales in just over 2 years. She's a proud member of the Leadership Council for the April Stevens team. She leads with a servant's heart, unwavering grit, and a deep love for both her clients and teammates. Lauren is also the founder of Worthy, a growing downline built to equip and elevate new agents so they feel confident walking into any room, no matter where they are in their journey. A former stay-at-home mom turned hopeful powerhouse, Lauren is proof that it's never too late to rise, lead, and thrive in your second act. They're all embarrassed now, okay, but that's okay. Nobody likes to have their horn tooted, but we're super proud of you guys. So really quickly, we'll just, like we did with the new agent panel, just tell us how long you've had your license, how many transactions, that type of thing. And then like you're Tyrell, the team leader, just tell us like where you are right now. Just introduce yourself a little bit more informally.
Okay, so informally without ChatGPT, which is kind of scary anymore these days. So yeah, like I got my license at the very end of 2022. I decided that I did not want to stay at home anymore with my daughter, and I thought I would get into the real estate world and just sell like a handful of houses, and it would be so fun. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, what is this world? I love it. I need to have so much of it. So yeah, transactions, you said? Mm-hmm. So since I had my first transaction in January of 2023, and since then I have closed out 57 transactions, and counting, Lord willing. So they just keep on. Yeah, and that is about it.
And how many agents are you mentoring right now?
So I've got, I have 5 in my downline. I have 1 mentee. Well, yes, 1 mentee and 1 in the downline, and then one mentee, so 6.
Hi, I'm Taylor. I've been in the business probably since late 2021. Everything was kind of a blur. COVID hit, got let go. Found Linda through my previous job, who took me under her wing and helped me. And then along getting my license, I had my first baby. Charity was helping me through that. So that was a big whirlwind, trying to get your foot in real estate while having a newborn. And since then I have sold roughly around 70 homes, and it's exciting. I have 2 little boys, 2-year-old and now 4-year-old who just turned 4. So life is busy.
So you've had 2 babies in this time?
Yes.
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 And still close 70. That's pretty easy.
17 months apart.
Yes. And then mentors, how many agents are you mentoring?
Probably about 4. Bethany used to babysit her. She spoke on the earlier panel. Yeah. About 4.
That's good. See, when you can turn around and then people are successful, that's
yes.
The ripple effect, right? So we got Taylor and then Tyrell Taylor.
Yes.
Tyrell.
Yes, started in 21. First year, so about 2.2 mil. The second year after that, it was kind of rocky. I kind of took a step back, went to switch firms, which I don't recommend to do. So switch firms, I came back the second year, so 41 homes. And then I started a team. I mentored 21 agents when I was with Black Label, when I started Black Label Access. And right now I'm mentoring 7 right now. And I have 16 agents on my team.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so let's talk about first for you guys, what was a turning point that you feel like helped you go from kind of, okay, I feel like I'm just getting started to like, when was that moment you're like, okay, now this is going, this is flowing, like now I'm trying to thrive instead of just survive. Was there ever a moment like that you can remember?
I can go first? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So for me, it was when I started, my phone was ringing a lot. Like it was like, at first I was chasing leads and then not really putting the work in on how to leads chase me by, marketing, branding. So in the beginning, it was more just like, okay, how do I make money? Where do I go? Because in the beginning, like you have to have the right sponsor, the right people around you. Because I didn't. Like I remember doing contracts by hand. But in 21, so everybody was doing it on the computer, but I was still doing it by hand. So it was like, this not gonna work. But and things started switching for me. People started coming to me, started asking me questions, and then it was like, okay, this is it. I can do this. And I got the confidence I needed, and then I just took off. And I would say a lot of TV too, a lot of selling sunset, a lot of selling my hand. I took notes, and I was like, okay, I can do the same thing. They can do it here. I can do it here. Let me put the work in. So that's what happened.
Perfect. So went from feeling like chasing to then finally starting paying
Correct.
off. How long would you say it took from like push to like starting to reap those rewards?
I would say maybe like 4 to 6 months.
Yeah.
Definitely 4 to 6 months. Because I had to plant a lot of seeds. I call it planting seeds. I told my team we got to plant seeds every chance we get. Because you never know when somebody's gonna be ready to take that next step to buying or selling. So I just try to stay in front of them by planting them seeds. So I would say about 4 to 6 months.
Okay. Perfect. Same.
I feel like I was a little slower started because I had the 2 little boys and I was trying to stay home and be a real estate agent. And then my husband, he really helped me last year, probably around actually last January. He decided to take a step back from the construction world to let me go full-time real estate. And that was a big adjustment, but honestly, like 2024 January is when it really started changing. I decided to take the initiative and just put myself completely out there, started TikTok. And then within 2 months later, I had my first client who wanted to sell and buy, and then it just kept coming. And then fast forward today, I have gotten some agents over from TikTok, and I have $1 million buyer who's moving here. They've signed agency and will likely be going under contract in the next few weeks. So yeah, so really just stepping outside of my comfort zone and giving it my all. I think when I have that luxury of my husband being able to stay home, it also pushes me to hold myself more accountable. So yeah, last year is really when it made a big difference, and it didn't take long. It just took a couple months, and now my sphere is stepping up, and people are calling me, right? So
Yeah, for me, so it was like probably after that first year. So I realized like I knew what to do with my hands. It wasn't so much like, okay, cool. So I just got like somebody under contract, like now what? I realized like, how to balance and manage all of that. And then for me, I really just decided to go all in to the couple things in this business that I found joy in. And when I decided to like give my all to that and be consistent in that, I started to see a huge step up in the amount of clients that were calling and referring. And for me, that was like just giving my clients more of an experience, not just like from start to finish, contract to close, but even like after. And I love like crafts, and I love Popeyes, and I love gifts. And that is like a literal, like, it's just part of who I am. It's a love language. So I decided like, I can go all in for this. And then my clients started to just like be obsessed with that and love that, to the point that like, if I call them and I'm like, hey, I need a review, they're like, we're on it. There's a contest at the office and I want to win, but it's like, it's also allowed me to get a lot of business from just doing that, and it really has helped. And then for me, the other thing has been open houses. Like I love open houses, and I get most of my business at open houses, as crazy as that sounds. But again, I go all in. I give the client the experience when they walk through the door, and I have a system before, after, during, that just extends beyond the day of the open house. It's a 7 to 10 day process. And when I started saying I can't just show up an hour before or door knock, that's not enough. that's when I started to see that shift for me. Yeah.
Which was the next kind of question, like what systems, tools, or people helped you scale your business faster?
So I will say I switched to Follow Up Boss from KV Core, and nothing against KV Core, but when I made that transition into Follow Up Boss last year, it changed everything. I started using it and I brought it to April and I said, we have got to get this. Like this is literally, it changed everything because every single person I talk to goes in Follow Up Boss. Every system I have, every Google form, every email newsletter, no matter what it is, I don't care if it's agents that I'm trying to bring to EXP, I don't care if it's somebody I met at the grocery store, everything goes in Follow Up Boss. And that was like a huge shift for me. And then another thing is, it's a lot of work and it's not fun, but I write SOPs for everything I do in my business. And it has been like literally so time consuming, and and with AI it makes it easier, but you've got to get to the initial checklist first. And when I started doing that, and then like things come up, right? Like I just add it, like, oh gosh, I didn't think that, the uncle's brother's aunt would all of a sudden just try to show up, and now like they say that they're on the deed, or they can't sell the house. What do we do? So it's just all those things that happen, I just add them. But once you have the core of the system, it makes it so much easier to just know how to be consistent in your business with every client.
And for anybody who doesn't know what an SOP is, standard operating procedure, which is, this is what happens every single time in every single situation, which is hard in real estate, like you're saying, because there's lots of variables.
But there's a lot of things though that aren't variables, in the sense of like, when I get a lead, what do I do?
Yeah.
That's an SOP. Like there's a whole SOP for that. When I go on a listing appointment, what am I doing before? What am I doing during? What am I doing after? How am I then marketing the house? Then what are we doing for the open house? It's more than just, there's consistent things that you'll always be able to do in your business.
And does that help you then be able to delegate or get help with things?
Yes. Yes. I don't ask for a lot of help, but that's just a control issue.
That's the next level of leadership. We're gonna get there. But yeah, and
Yes.
do you feel like that helps you when you're talking to your clients to say, here's what's gonna happen next, and you really know?
It's almost like you memorize it, and it's so consistent. And then especially when you're pouring into your past clients that are sending you clients, there are a lot of times they're like, oh yes, Liz already told me that you were gonna say that, or she already said that you were gonna bring this or go over this. So it just also helps, I think, to build your brand. Because it's like, this is part of who I am. I'm a neurotic, OCD, crazy person. But like, hey, you already know it and you're letting me walk through the door. So we're good here, So I think that's what the SOP has done for me.
I love that. Okay, Taylor, same question. What systems, tools, or people helped you scale your business?
So as far as system goes, that's something I should definitely be better at. I am not great at that. You guys have heard Tina Caul. She has like the note cards where I'm more old fashioned. I have to have it written out in front of me. If it's on a computer, then I have to check it and I won't always remember. So Linda's always suggested a big whiteboard, writing everybody down who I'm working with, who's under contract, who I'm working with, just leads, even if they're 6 months out. And that has truly helped me because I'm just not good about going in KV Core and updating everything. Should be. Highly recommend it. I'm still working on that, but that has worked for me, and it keeps me accountable and it helps me sleep at night.
Yeah.
I can look at it and be like, okay, let me write this person's name down. Now I can go to sleep, think about it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that has helped me. As far as people, it really helps to have a good community. Linda has definitely helped me. I went to Charlotte Build last year and decided I was gonna get a coach. And I invested again in myself and got a coach, Dirk Zeller, if you've heard of him. He's written several books, Success Habits for Dummies. I highly recommend that book to get in some good habits if you wanna look at that. But I was never the kind of person who was tracking my listing appointments, tracking my buyer consults. I didn't know how many appointments I was going on to convert someone. So that's something I have recently started doing. And the way that I'm doing it is, this is the gross commission I want to make every year. My average commission check is X. Let's work backwards, see how many appointments I need to have each month to get to that. And that's helped because now I'll wake up and be like, okay, great. I've had this many appointments. I'm good this month. Let's keep pushing. Or, oh no, I need to get more appointments to hit my goal. And that really has helped. It's helped me envision my whole year, and I'm on track for what I'm hoping to do this year. So I think really, if you can look at what you're wanting to make each year, break it down and figure out how many appointments you need to have, it's important because you need to know your ratios of converting.
Which can get better over time.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
And I would say my tools and systems I use is I use everything EXP gives me. Like I feel like I'm paying the $85 a month. Let me get everything out of it.
Yeah.
So I use KV C-Tools. Now we got Canva, so I definitely utilize that. I utilize that for my team. You know, we can add people to your Canva group now because EXP got one big team. So I utilize that as well. And like she said, Follow-Up Boss. Like I love Follow-Up Boss. Yes, it is. It really is. And it integrates into my KV call, it integrates to my Gmail, Facebook, anything. So all my leads is right there where I need them to be, and I can see everything that's going on, see when they open, all that good stuff. And for the people, I would definitely say my team. My team is here. If you don't mind, can you please stand, please, my team? I don't put you on the spot, but you don't mind. And these are some of my agents that came it's the first time coming to this building as well, and I want to see and feel the energy in here. And I definitely.
You guys on the chat. There too. He's showing.
Oh, and then some of my agents on Zoom. But definitely, you gotta have a good circle around you. You gotta have people that you can go to if you need anything. And definitely can't leave without thanking my girlfriend. She's the most underpaid employee.
Yeah.
And sometimes we know that it happens like that. Our spouses, our girlfriends, our husbands, they do a lot of work behind the scenes for us, and so.
Yeah, support system in general is huge, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it sounds like you guys, at the first level, like, I gotta figure out what all this stuff is. And then to get to the next level, like, I need to systematize this. Whether it's paper and pen, like, that's still
Maybe
a
I'll get
system.
Follow Boss after today.
I don't work for that.
People
by the
were
way.
selling before the internet existed, you know what I mean? It used to all be paper and pen. As long as
Everyone's
it's
gonna
written
be
down
different.
somewhere.
Yeah, everybody learns and
It is
sees
a
different.
system, and that's the beauty of systems, as long as it's somewhere.
working.
And as long as it works, right? Okay, love that. Fantastic. Okay, so let's talk about how has your role evolved from solo agent to leader, and like what mindset shift did that require? Do you want to start?
Okay, definitely. When you go from a solo agent to somebody that's now you got agent that's dependent on you, your mindset has to change to where like, okay, it's not about me anymore. It's about what I can do to help my team and me win at the same time. And that is not easy, definitely because you always come here like, okay, I need to learn everything. I need to take it all in. I need to know, what can I learn? Then when you get to that stage where you're like, okay, now I got to give it out. I got to give it away. And you have to really be subconscious like, okay, I'm not stingy, I'm not selfish. Let me make sure these people are working, they learn it, and they're growing together. So I would definitely recommend that, like I said at the beginning, you find your people, you find your tribe, and you run with them.
I'm gonna just go back. Did you try to be a leader and people just start talking to you? Was it like an intentional thing or
No,
just people?
it was actually like just like I said, I mentored 21 agents, so it was like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I can help people. Let me become my own team.
Well, but there had to be a decision to become it. Not everybody who's an agent who becomes one, right? There had to be that decision. I'm ready to give back to people.
And not to take away, but it goes back to me when I first started the business, me having to write my own contracts by hand. It was like, I don't want other agents to go through what I went through. So like, let me make sure I can be that role model, that leader, that people are like, okay, it's easier. He's not making it as hard as people seem that it is to be.
Yeah, perfect.
For me, I felt like I got comfortable doing the normal buy and sell transaction on a daily basis. And I come from a family full of education, like pretty much everyone in my family is a teacher. And that's not what I wanted to do, but I still want to be able to teach new agents. So I felt like I had that shift where I started learning more about the mentor program, went ahead and got my mentorship. And then it just happened to work out that a girl that I played travel volleyball with was thinking about getting her license, and it happened basically at the same time. I got my mentorship and I took her on. And like Tyrell said, it is a big shift, Normally I'm the one asking the questions, and I call Linda all the time still to brainstorm, but now I'm having somebody come to me asking those questions, and I need to be available as much as I can. It might be 7 o'clock at night, it might be first thing in the morning, and I've got something going on, but there's a sense of urgency sometimes. Like maybe they've got to get that offer in, they're depending on me, and I want to be able to help them. So it's really trying to balance it all, but it's great to be able to give back. So I think it is a little bit of a learning curve, but the mind shift changed for me because I felt comfortable in what I was doing on the normal day-to-day basis in real estate, and I wanted to be able to give back. So mentorship, yeah, here we are.
Beautiful.
For me, it kind of just progressed over time, as far as like, you know, I live in a constant state of gratitude. So I feel like I'm one of those people that like everything that happens in your life is because of this moment that turns into this moment.
Right.
And I had a very cool like moment that brought me even just to walk in the door at April's office and get hired as a brand new agent on this team. And the amount of just time and energy that was poured into me. And I'm like, God, my first year I closed 20 deals. Like that is only possible because I had mentorship, because I had people that poured into me. So I'm gonna make sure that, and I'm so grateful for that. I will always remain as grateful as it gets because I feel like that's the part that people will always resonate with. And I just felt like if I can just do half of what they did for me, for these new girls and new guys that are walking through the door, like what does that look like? Because then when they start winning, I'm winning too. And it's not about the rev share. It is nice, like I'm not gonna lie, but it's a lot of work. You can't bank on it. Like, you know, it really becomes like I'm gonna call Joanna out. She just came to EXP and she's a really good old friend of mine. And she's had her license for years, but she has her first listing appointment tomorrow. When she called me last week and told me that was like, you've got to be, I mean, literally I was the most excited, more excited than even if it was like, it felt like it was me, you know, it just, so I really like when you chase that feeling and you know, like if I do this and I take the 5 minutes and just take the phone call, you know, because I'm still in the trenches and it's hard sometimes because I'm like, I got my own goals to meet, I've got my own stuff. Like I've got to make sure that I stay on top of that. But you know, April and Holly and I'll call our coach out, Kelly, like she never was too busy to take a phone call from me, you know, at 7:30 at night when I'm writing an offer and I'm like, okay, what's the plat book again? Like, oh, I don't know, you know, like, and they never said no. So I felt like as long as like that was the mind shift change where it was like, now that's my turn to show up for that person.
And can I just say that you are in a position to really help someone's life, like you can change their whole life. And that is big. So when you had that responsibility, you gotta be like, okay, let me work on this. Let me make sure I got them right. And that's one thing I enjoy.
Yeah. What are some of the struggles of like balancing your business and helping other people, and then also just being pulled in lots of directions? And then specifically, I want you guys to talk about like taking care of yourself. Like, what do you do to take care of yourself? Because you can't pour from an empty cup, right? Which we tend to do a lot.
So I learned that first year because I lived like this in my phone all the time. I was not present at all because I was chasing, right? I was chasing that goal. It was like 20 or nothing. Like I was not going to be able to sleep at night if I said I would close 20 and I wanted to close 20. And I realized after that I was like, so I just hit 20 and now I have no closings for 2024. Like, and I just felt like, so for me, it was implementing systems to kind of like take care of myself. And a lot of that is stuff that took me a lot of work up front, but on the back end, a lot of it integrates itself online, which has been amazing. But then the second thing was, it was okay to say I'm in a meeting. They don't have to know I'm getting my hair done. I don't have to take this phone call right now. This is a meeting. You know, I'm talking to all of my personalities right now and my hairdresser. Like they don't, you know, they don't need to know. And I learned how to like, this is not an emergency. Everything's an emergency in real estate if you want it to be, or everything can be solved. Because as I found, everything has gotten solved. It's gonna solve itself whether you get fired by the client, whether, you know, you have to have 2 contracts that fall through and put the house on the market again. That literally 3 times the charm. Like, I mean, it all gets solved somehow. So none of it is that emergent that you can't say, I'll call you back in 2 hours, I'm in a meeting. So I've really learned that, and I've learned that it's okay to take the trip. It's okay, like I just got back from Florida yesterday, took my daughter for spring break because we do it every year, and I put 5 houses under contract last week. I did not have time, right? Like, but did I not have time, or was I just telling myself that? Like, it was important to say, Lauren, this is all here. Let's put it out to the TCs and to the team for the things that you can, take on the things that you can, and then take your kids swimming for 5 days to see, you know, her grandparents, and all of it will be okay. Letting yourself off the hook is okay to do that, I think. Give yourself grace.
And that shift takes you from being a 1099 to be a business owner. Because most of us come into, who had sales experience before real estate? Raise your hand if you had sales experience before real estate. Not very many people, right? Whoever ran a business before real estate. That should be 100% the same. If you ran a business and you did sales, right? Okay, so knowing like standards, we're not customer service representatives, right? I'm not here to be a customer service, like I'm an advisor and this is my business and there's times for things like, you wouldn't expect your attorney to just answer if I'm like, I'm available right now. Let me answer your legal question. Do you know what I mean? And so it is a shift to go from like, this is how I run my business.
Yeah.
If that doesn't work for you, it's okay for me not to work with you.
And that's another thing, you gotta be okay to walk away from business. I was not okay with that for a long time. Like, I say a long time, I've been doing this for 2.5 years, but it feels like, you know. But no, it's okay to walk away from business sometimes. I got fired this year, at the beginning of the year. I had somebody say, this isn't gonna work out. And I said, you know what, you're right, it's not. You're not listening to me. You're not doing what I'm asking you to do as the seller. And then you're expecting me to pull the rabbit out of the hat, and it's just, you know, and that's something that, you know, did that suck initially? Yeah, I didn't love that, but I was like, oh, this is fine. It's okay to walk away sometimes and say, I'm not the right fit here, and that's okay. I wish you well. The house is still on the market, so we won't April 3rd, but
You can breathe now.
yeah, I mean, it's like, it's okay, like, we weren't the right fit, and it's all right, it happens.
And that can happen the same in leadership too.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
I'm sure you guys have seen, if you're on TikTok, I've scrolled too much on TikTok, but have you ever guys like seen the video where it's like what it's like to be married to a real estate agent and they're just like constantly on the phone? So that was me, and I mean it still is, but when I first got started in real estate, I was like, the phone rings, I'm gone. I gotta do a showing, I'm gone. Here's the kids. It doesn't matter what time of day it is, I'm gone. But now, like, and especially my husband, he is like, we're sitting down at dinner, do not answer the phone. Linda has said, and I use it all the time, no one is dying.
Yeah.
It is not that urgent. I mean, yes, there are gonna be emergency in real estate, but no one is dying. It's gonna be fine. Take the hour. It's really important to take time for your family. It's hard to find that balance. I mean, I have 2 little kids and I wanna spend as much time with them as I can, but I also need to work. But then sometimes I'm working too much. Those TikTok clients that I told you that I'm so excited to have them sign, the $1 million clients, well, they came in and the only 2 days that they could see houses were, one of the days was my son's 4th birthday. Oh. And I was like, this is not gonna work. And I just had to be upfront with them. I was like, I will show you literally all day on Sunday, but Monday, my family's in town, we're going to the zoo, like I can't, we've already got plans. And so what did I do? I woke up, left at 8:30 in the morning to show houses, showed 20 houses, did not get home until 7:30 p.m. But I got it done and I got to enjoy the next day. So I think it's just about being upfront with your clients because you have a life too, but you also have other work arrangements. They can't always rely on the time that you have available. Give them times. These are the times I can do 10 a.m., I can do 2 p.m. Which one works best for you? Because it is your business, right? Like, if you call and make a doctor's appointment, they're gonna give you openings. You take whichever one's open. Same for us. So I think that's really important to just set your expectations up front with your clients, and they'll always be respectful. If not, then maybe it's not a good fit.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Yeah. Clap your hands on that. They're not expecting you to be available.
No.
You're just acting that way.
And that's
exactly,
internal,
and that's
how I was in the beginning because I was so desperate. I wanted that paycheck. It was an adrenaline. It still is an adrenaline rush. I mean, I still get the adrenaline rush chasing it, but you just got to take the time. It's really important. You got to have a healthy work-life balance.
And I think there's something to be said about the first year. You do need to do that stuff, right? Like you do have to hustle and grind the first year or so. Then you get to when leads are coming in and deals are on the pipeline.
And you gotta learn what not to do too.
I'm about to say the same thing. You gotta learn the business first. Definitely. I always say, like, I get a lot of phone calls. I deal with a lot of mentees, agents. So it's like, first thing I say, is the house on fire?
Yeah.
If it's not, the house is not on fire, we can work through it. Give me a second.
If it is, call, hang up, and call 911.
Yeah, definitely. Because you gotta value your time in the business because you can't get burnt out. Like you can't really. It can be overwhelming. You're like, okay, I need a break. So you definitely want to take as much time as you need for you. I do that a lot, and I always, because dealing with new agents, sometimes they always want to tell you like everything from when they wake up to the end. Just tell me the sweet part. I give you what you need. Like, let's get to the meat and potatoes of what's going on, and then we can work from there. So That's one thing I like to do. I take my time, I use my time wisely, and I quit to send a text. You call me, I'm like, talk, hey, everything okay? What's going on?
Yeah.
You know, and then if it's something important, let me take this. But at that time, I get my mindset to where, like, okay, I gotta handle something.
Right.
So I like to just, you know, get prepared for things.
Right, right. And so as leaders, right now we're talking dealing with agents, do you have to set the same standards and boundaries that you did with your clients with agents? It's the same, right? It's the same, just different.
It is.
Right, so it's a struggle.
Yeah.
It's a struggle, because you
I
want
just
to.
heard you were up at 1 o'clock in the morning with agents.
We were talking about TikTok, okay? No, it wasn't required. We were having fun. But yeah, no, it is. And then as you grow, more money, more problems, right? So then you got a different level of system and structure. But the process of creating systems and structures is the same. It's just at a different level.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, if I didn't have my, I ain't even, was you about to say something?
No, you're good.
If I didn't have my TC or my ISA, I don't know how successful I would be in this business, because you need help. Like, you
Yeah.
gotta, and I'm tapping into the last question, but you definitely need help.
Yes. Well, and that's, because you were saying, like, you want to do 20 showings, but maybe you get a showing assistant, or
Right.
you pay someone to do showings, or you have a team, like,
Teammate, yeah.
for you're wax on, wax off, you're modeling that for your agents, because if they see you doing all the things, they're like, oh, that's what it's gonna look like when I'm busy.
Correct.
That's when you burned out.
They're like, no, that sounds awful. I don't wanna do that, right? Okay, and then the last question is, before Q&A, what advice would you give to someone who's had a few wins, but then feels overwhelmed trying to do it all?
I'll take that first one. That, like what I just finished saying, like, you can't do it alone. Like,
Yeah.
you can try. Definitely, it will be, you know, hard on your body, your mental. So I suggest that, you know, you find, like I said, the right people, showing assistants, ISAs, TCs, anybody that can help your business grow. Because, like I heard before, you have to sometimes step out of your business to look and see what's going on before you jump back into your business. So I look at everything. I look at my team, I look at the people I'm working with, I see my circle, and I'm like, okay, we can make this work. So that definitely, you gotta have the tribe.
Right.
Same thing, and I mean, like I said, it's so important to have that work-life balance, because family always comes first, in my opinion. I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way, and it's just really important to make sure you have a cutoff time every day. Like, whatever that is, it's gonna fluctuate. You are gonna have days where you have to work later. You're not gonna be able to always take weekends off. But try, if you can, to have, like, my thing is Sundays are usually the day that I try not to do anything. Of course, show 20 houses last weekend. But that's just, you've got to try to have expectations and follow them to the best of your ability. Not always going to happen.
Yeah, but at least it's there.
At least it's there.
Right.
Try.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's same thing that they said. I mean, I think it's really important that, like, you know, set yourself up for success, do the hard work at the front end, so on the back end, you can actually enjoy the business, because the business is really, really amazing. It's been something for me, it's been life-changing. It has changed everything about who I am. As the example I'm setting for my daughter, my husband literally all the time is like, I'm so proud of you. Like, and there's something to be said to feel like that you are able to, like, get that, like, respect and that self-esteem that you're like, I just had that conversation. I did not even know what half the words I just said on the phone were. But again, the harder you work on the back end, I feel like then you can kind of take the step back and say, all right, I've set myself up to be able to now really be grateful for all of this, because that's what it is. Like, you know, and shifting it to every time that I would pick up a Zillow phone call and the client wouldn't show up, I'm like, well, now I know where, you know, this, you know, Selma is. I've never have been here before, but, you know, now I know. And, you know, I'd go inside and I'd still look at the house, you know, and you just, everything is a learning experience. So take that, work hard here so you enjoy it over here.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a level of confidence that grows, and again, we go from talk about new agents to people in the 2 to 3 year, right? I am making a business happen from nothing. Like, I did this all in my head. Like, I have a paycheck that pays my bills consistently from my own efforts that I didn't have to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
until you're there, because I remember in the beginning, it was like, okay, we had some deals, but what's going to happen next month? And what's going to happen you know, it's like that nervousness. Then you got to start trusting the process, because we know after you're doing it for a while, it takes some time to build. And they're like, okay, Oh, what about 6 months? Right, so it's like, it's having that, it's gonna be okay. Even if I don't see something, I know I'm doing the work every single day, it's gonna pay off over time. That's a great feeling.
It is, and like, if it's okay,
Yeah.
to that point, I've done it so many times, and I've told myself this year is not gonna be the year. But when you have a busy summer, whenever it is, and you have those transactions, you can't get so fixated on getting those to closings. You still gotta make sure that you're setting aside time each day. And I know that sounds so straightforward, but it is the truth. Because once you get to the end of those closing, what is next? You're gonna start feeling that panic again.
Yes.
So just keep making the time for those new prospects.
It's something to think about, just one last to piggyback on that, even if you had 7 days or you're gonna lose your real estate license, okay? They're just gonna take it away from you. Could you sell a house? Could you get one under contract? If that was like the requirement. You know, like if you had a week, that was it, and they said, we're gonna take it away from you. You know, where's your system? You know, how set up are you? And you know, to say like, so you know exactly like, hey, I know I can show 20 houses because it's my son's birthday and that's a hard line for me. And I think that right there is like what, somebody said that to me very early on and I was like, no, I don't think I could. You know, if you told me today, yeah, I could do it, it may kill me, but I'll do it. So because you have the systems there in place, you've put that work into it that you're like, no, I got this, I can do it.
I think there's a key thing here that you're saying. You have to create your own sense of urgency.
Yes.
Because we're in a 90-day cycle, the work we do today, we don't get a paycheck for 90 days. So if I take the day off today, who's gonna know? In 90 days, that's not an immediate gratification, especially when you're new coming in to this business and I gotta make the rules and follow them and hold myself accountable. You know what I mean? Like that's really hard. That we kind of talked about that earlier. Once you get busy, you start to feel that rhythm of like, and then if it starts to feel like something's going on, like I need, you know, you gotta again create that sense of urgency constantly, which again steps back to remotivating yourself because motivation doesn't happen all the time, right?
No.
It goes from motivation to what?
Oh, procrastination.
No, discipline. Because motivation will go away, then it becomes discipline, right?
Yeah.
So push. Then it starts to feel easy. But then it's like,
It's just a
slow
habit.
down a little. Okay, now I gotta go push again. So that was my last question I wanted to add. Schedule-wise, so our newer agents, they're just kind of figuring it out, right? Like they're doing great. Now that you've been doing this a little while, what is your schedule like? And it's probably different for everybody, but do you have like, on Mondays we do this, and Wednesdays we're pink, or like whatever, like what is your schedule? Do you have like any time, like a specific time set aside to lead generate, lead follow-up, client work, appointments, or is it just kind of as is, or what is your schedule?
For me, I do the same 5 things every day. So Brian Danny did like a webinar. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but he's part of all of this. Like, and I mean, he did $100 million by himself a couple years ago, like as a solo agent. And now he's like really like kind of like shifted more into like coaching and mentorship with Kyle and Dan and all those guys. But he had done something one time about how it's like 5 things that you do every day. You start your day, you do those, it's 5 for 5, right? So if you do that every single day, that's 25 things that you're doing every day, and what does that look like at the end of the week? So I start my day and do those 5 things, and it's five things, and it's 5 of those things. And then I can go about the rest of my day. But I've gotten so used to it that if I don't sit there at the morning, like between 7 and 8, because my daughter's still sleeping, I don't have to do anything, that's my time, it's my power hour to knock that all out. So I do that every single day, everything lives in my calendar, down to if I need to make a phone call, it's there. But again, I'm neurotic, so don't take that, like, you have to find your own rhythm, but for me, that's how it works.
So what are the 5 things?
So, all right.
Tell us the 5 things. I mean, go into it.
So 5 things, and I'll share the sheet, because I literally, Brian shared it in this group, I took it, I laminated it, so I just work off with an expo marker every day, so I don't have to like sit there and do like a new piece of paper. So you want to send, so you do 5 phone calls, 5 text messages, 5 videos, 5 acts of kindness, and 5 social media, whether you're liking something on somebody's social media, you're sending that person a direct message, you're commenting on somebody's post. It's 5 things all generated towards your business.
When you say 5 videos, are you doing like text videos or?
So so again, Follow Up Boss has been, like, I used to just do them on my phone, and it would be like happy birthday videos, or it would be like, hey, you know, happy 30 days in your house, you know. Now with Follow Up Boss, you can connect it to BombBomb, which is amazing, and it all talks to each other. And I literally, with the CRM, I can track, and it also talks to Facebook. So if you're friends with your clients on Facebook, it will pull up their birthdays, which is like, and so now I'll be like, and so obviously it's 7 a.m. I'm not sending these, like, I'm waiting until it's an appropriate time, but I'm doing it at 7, so then it's done.
Right.
So then at 9:15, it's not creepy that I've just sent you a video at 7 a.m. as your realtor and you're calling the police because you're like, she's crazy. So but you're setting yourself up so it's there, you're doing your 5, and that's it.
Would you be willing to come back sometime and show us your follow-up box?
Sure.
structure?
Oh, I would love to. I love it. Again,
We
guys,
always come up with our new topics from our current topics. Okay.
we'll talk, yeah. I love, like, y'all, some people lay in bed at night, like Law and Order is on for me, and I'm sitting there watching Follow Up Boss,
shit.
like
Yeah.
YouTube videos all day, okay? Like, that is my jam.
Yeah.
But it's really, I can't talk enough about it because it has transformed my business. Like, it is a one-stop shop to the point that you can make email templates in there and send your sphere newsletters, and then you can do all, like, Flowdesk and all that is so confusing to me. This is so streamlined for me. It's so easy. It's
We'll be
amazing.
having Lauren back to talk about this later. Thank you very much. That's
Really
really
great.
awesome. Okay.
Love it.
Schedule.
I wish I could say my schedule is the same every day. That just like hasn't worked for me. I know I've sat in on so many trainings and webinars and like, okay, from 9 to 10 you prospect. Well, that just like doesn't work. I do try to make my prospecting time in the morning. My goal is to have 20 conversations for the week. Some days it may be 1 because people aren't answering their phones. Some days that might be greater than others. So I do try to do it in the morning. Don't know when it's going to happen. And then I do try to do 1 evening. But it's not set in stone on when I'm prospecting. It's just
As long
when
as it's
I
a goal.
can.
And
You
you
have a
hit
2
the
and a
goal.
4-year-old, like.
Yeah, that are which who are not in. I mean, my husband's home, but they are not in daycare. They go to like half day preschool Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So like, it is what it is. I'm getting it done when I can.
2 boys. No.
2 boys who are 17 months apart and are loud and wild. Love them. But my schedule is just, I get my calls done when I can, and then I try to go preview homes, and then I'm having my appointments with my clients in the afternoons, and I mean, I just don't really
Yeah.
have a set schedule.
You have one.
It
Not
works.
giving yourself credit for it. It's working, obviously, right? Okay. Because this is the key. Like, when don't we always feel like, oh, I could be doing more. I could be doing more. But that's a learner's mindset.
Right.
Everyone who's super successful is always learning and growing. We hear what other people doing, like, ooh, let's do that too. Yeah, which can make you overwhelmed sometimes. You gotta keep the items. Okay, Tyrell,
Me, 5 a.m. club, so I'm in the gym by 5 a.m., 5:15 on a slow day. And when I get back, I look at, you know, my text messages, my emails, and then I go to Facebook and I go to the happy birthday list and just click everybody happy birthday, all the way down the list, as much as I can, you know, because I always want to stay on top of mind of people. So that's one thing I do. And after that, I just start doing my follow-ups. I start looking at my follow-up boss, checking on my leads, seeing what was open, what was not open, anything that was, you know, sent back. I reached out to, you know, I call Taylor every morning, see what we got planned, what's next. Besides that, it just definitely just making sure that I'm in front of my business on every aspect. Make sure I'm not behind anything. Make sure I got everything ordered. Make sure my TC working. So, and then after lunch, I'm showing homes or just, you know, working on more leads.
Yeah. And I feel like when you get to a level where you're at 20 or more agents, right? When you're, or 10 or more really, but it's like during the day, you're like in that volleyball position.
Ready?
Of like, what's someone gonna ask me now? You know, but so you've got to get your stuff done before.
Yeah.
You got to get up. My mom said you got to get up early in the morning
Yeah.
to fool me. That's I'm like, oh well, that's apparently. Yeah, you got to get your stuff going to be the leader for other people,
Exactly.
for them to look at you to make it. Because otherwise, you'll just get caught up
Yep.
in answering their questions, which is fine. But if you're still trying to sell houses at the same time too, and your people are looking to you. What should we be doing today?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, yeah. So, okay. Any Q&A? Yes.
My question is for Lauren. You said that you got a lot of your leads through open houses. So what is your process before, during, and after open house?
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna I'll give you the snippet, because the SOP's like 3 pages, but, so typically, when it's a resale, I do go ahead, a week before, like I try to like set myself up at the beginning of the month for open houses to give myself time. So I'll go and I will preview the home. Then I go through and I will take, let's say that it's like, you know, a big neighborhood, but the house is on this, like, you know, it's on one street and there's like a street that's right adjacent to it. And let's say that's like 20 homes. So then I go through and I take those 20 homes and I'll stop and I'll pass off like a little like goodie bag to them, kind of like, hey, didn't know if you saw it, but the neighbor, you know, your neighbor just put their house on the market. So then usually, so I'll drop that off. That has a QR code that goes into a landing page that then dumps into Follow Up Boss. And a lot of that is like, you draw them in with like, you know, obviously like, you know, did you want to see, you know, this is what we're listing your neighbor's house for. Did you want to see how much, you know, your equity that you're living in, or whatever the cheeky thing is, like, that, you know, ChatGPT will spit out for me typically. And I do it seasonally for that, like the tagline. So then after that, so the day before the open house, like when I'm putting out the signs, I'll go then and door knock, and I'll tell those people, that same 20 houses, that, you know, we're gonna enter to win a $25 gift card, which, you know, I provide. And I'll tell them, you know, we want to have a neighbor preview, or, you know, we would love your feedback, or whatever it is. You know, sometimes they come to the door, sometimes they don't. It is what it is. Like, I've had so many doors slammed, it doesn't matter now, it's fine. And then, you know, obviously show up that morning, and then I will follow back up after the open house with them. And I also make sure to have, and again, this is just all part of my systems, I keep all of this stuff now on hand in my house. So like, I just open a closet and I'm like, okay, so I've got 20, I gotta do this, I gotta put this in. I keep all of it in bulk to just make myself not feel like I'm so stressed out. Yeah, so.
And then the open house, after the open house, following.
I follow back up with those. And then another thing that I actually just started doing too, some advice that I got when I am door knocking, instead of just being like, hi, I'm the listing agent at 83 Winding Creek, I'll say, hey, so we're gonna be having an open house this weekend. There's gonna be a ton of traffic. I just wanted to give you a heads up. And a lot of times now I'm seeing like, oh, hey, you dropped something at my door, you know? So that's been, that just kind of even just changing the knock on the door to what you're saying versus just, you know, and that's just all trial and error and just taking other people's advice and seeing what works.
I do the same thing too, to touch on that a little bit. I let them know what we're doing in the neighborhood instead of like, hey, come here, we're selling this house. You want to sell yours? So that way they be like, oh, okay. And everybody had never did that before. Oh, that was nice. And we appreciate the heads up. Now they were like, okay, that's different. Who was this person? So
Yeah.
I definitely do that too as well.
I've seen people go to the 5 houses and drop off like coffee gift cards and say, I'm so sorry for the inconvenience, I want to buy you a little
Ooh, I
treat or
like
something
that.
like that. If you're doing open houses, right, you're getting listings.
Right.
Because then when the house sells, what do? You go back to those 20 people and say, hey.
Yeah.
You sold your neighbor's home.
I've heard the same thing for like if you're putting a sign out like right on like a corner where a stop sign
Yeah.
is and it's someone's yard, you're
Yeah.
like, hey, here's like a $5 coffee card or
Yeah.
whatever it
Yeah.
is, and say thank you, like put
Right.
a sign out here.
Right.
Appreciate it.
So did you all know when you were first starting out that you eventually wanted to be in a leadership role, or did you kind of realize it slowly, or did you just fall into it?
Me personally, I just fell into it after just being a mentor and realized that, okay, I can help people. So I was like, yeah, let me do this. Let me keep it going. I can change lives. That was mine.
Yeah, for me, I didn't know it at first. I think once I just got more comfortable, I realized, oh, I do know a lot and I can help, but still learning every day. I get calls from my agents and they have questions. I'm like, I have no idea, but you're gonna learn every single day in this business. So it did take me a little bit of time, but I did know after a couple of years.
I just liked raising my hand, and then it just felt natural after that to be like, hey, let me share this Canva template with you, or hey, let me just tell you this is what I did. Like, I feel like, you know, I think as a new agent, you know, if you continue to stay grateful and humble, you'll always remember what it feels like to be new, and it sucks. Like, it sucks to have an established agent say to you, what's your license number? Let me guess, it has a 3 in front of it.
Been in business for 20 years.
You know, nobody cares, you know, like, because I care about my client. And so for me, it was like, I don't ever want to be too far away from that feeling. And it just felt natural to just say, I'm gonna raise my hand, and then it got a little higher and a little higher, and it just kind of went from there.
My number got a 3 in front of it.
Yeah.
Hey, me too.
And I got 3-4,
I
okay?
got
So,
3-0.
you know.
This message is, this question is for Taylor. You said that you put yourself out there. Like, can you give me an example of how do you put yourself out there?
So my biggest fear when I first got started was talking to the people I actually knew, like my sphere. Why? Like those are the people who want to support you. And I was told by the longest time by my mentors, like you got to just put it out on social media, call your friends and family and your friends, and that's something that took me a long time to do, to get comfortable. But then it was really like, let me just start putting my successes on social media. And that's how people that I went to high school finally started reaching out with me and have been like some of the best clients I could have and have referred me so much business, just like repeat clients. Like they're telling everyone they know about me. And then, I mean, I try to go to some networking events, but I think truly for me, it was just getting over the hump of asking. It's okay to ask for business. Like, you may not be selling your house, but who do you know? Just, you gotta get comfortable with that. And it took me like 2 years. I mean, when I first got started, it was leads. That's all I was doing was leads. And then like, last year is really when my sphere stepped up.
I too am neurotic.
Yeah, welcome.
I feel like that drives me crazy and I waste a lot of time making things perfect.
Yep, and I did too, and now I don't. And I'll tell you, this lady right here, so, yeah, well, wow. So last year, well, yeah, she asked me to come and talk, and I was like, no, I can't, like, and I literally was up until 2 a.m. putting together this presentation, and I still felt like it wasn't good enough. And she said, done is better than perfect. And literally, I have lived by that, because like I'm getting ready next week. I'm having an event for the downline, for the group that I have created. That's a really big part of like what I want my brand and my message to be. And the invitation, the link didn't work to sign up. I was like, crap, I've spent all, and I was like, who cares? I'm just gonna call that person that emailed me and I'm just gonna tell them, hey, the link, are you coming or not? Like, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares as much as we care, as the neuroses like in us, nobody cares. I promise you, because literally everybody's like, that's just so cool. Like, they don't care as much as we care.
So how did you start your SOP? Because I feel like sometimes I have so much going on that I'm not doing them yet, and I need to go back. When I first started as an agent, I did create lists. This is what's gonna happen.
Right.
And it's, I don't know.
ChatGPT is your best friend.
So literally I went into a Google Doc, I opened it, and I just started hammering everything out in my brain. Like everything that goes into a buyer consultation, what I do before, what I do during, what I do after. Literally, that's all I did. I put it in ChatGPT and I said, give me this in an SOP format. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I put it in a Google Doc and now it's there. And I just go back through now and I'll build on things that pop up. But that you have to start somewhere. So it's okay. It wasn't perfect, but now it's close to perfect. You know, as perfect as it can be for me and how I want to do it, you know?
And then one last thing. I've been playing volleyball for the last 4 months.
Call me.
And it's not set up because technology and I are not friends.
Okay.
And when they start talking about web IDS and all that stuff,
Yeah.
I checked out and I'm.
So like,
And then I said, I'm gonna do this later, $89.
so have you, but you know though, you can call them. Their customer service. Call them.
Ask for help.
They ask for help. They have like a
Okay,
24/7.
perfectionist and people pleaser does not go well together with
You
it.
gotta ask for help. I did. I called. I was like, hey, yo, so this is what's going on. They want me to, Zapier, what the hell is Zapier? Okay, I don't understand now I gotta download something else. And they walked me through it. And now it works. Like, call them and ask, phone a friend. Like, you should always have somebody that is your lifeline, always. Like, and if you have to call customer service, they don't care.
They get paid.
That's what their job is.
They get paid for that.
And they're happy to do it. And I'll give you my phone number. You can call me. I'll walk you through it. but once you really access it, it's hard to, like, it literally will elevate you to another level.
Are you around?
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. I work for that lady right there in the blue behind you, so.
I have to do a follow boss like support group. There might be wine involved.
Yeah.
Victoria.
I like to.
Tito's, okay, she's on Tito's.
Taylor, question for you. How do you know that a client on TikTok is a real client and not just a creep?
There are a lot
You
of
know,
creeps.
there's a lot of that.
There are a lot of creeps. If you they just start off by saying like, "Hey, beautiful," or any of those weird things. It's just like I'm not responding to you. Yeah, but I do have a Google form that I try because it comments like it just gets lost. So I try to get them over to the Google form to fill out their information. Like, have you been pre-qualified? You know, are you looking to relocate to the Raleigh area? Or if it's a different state, we can do a referral. But they don't always do that. A lot of times people will message me, and I just take 5 minutes to have a few back and forth messages, and I can tell. Like, for the most part, like, people are dreamers. They're not going to actually move forward, but there has been a lot of success with it. But I think you just have to it doesn't hurt to engage with them a little bit if they're not being creeps, right? And figure out if they're real or not. And it doesn't really waste much time, so.
And they could know, even if they're not able to do it, they could know someone.
As long as they're real.
Yeah.
As long as they're real. And then, of course, getting them on the phone or an email. If they're willing to give you their phone number or their email right away, like, you're good. You're good. Like, those are the people who are motivated. Those are the people who, like, really want to get into a house. So, I mean, it's a lot of trial and error, but.
Yeah, and that's my second question, because I do inside of real estate. It's connected to my CRM and KV Core that I still don't know how to use it properly, but I try to get into that CRM thing. So sometimes I get some messages there, like, can you call me or text me on WhatsApp?
Yeah, no, that's.
No.
As soon as they say WhatsApp, I'm like, no. I was like, if you want to call me, here's my number, but I'm not getting on
Yeah, because
WhatsApp.
your number is right there.
It's like such a big, yeah, exactly. Just pick up the phone and call me. So, I mean, there are those people who are gonna like try to scam you or just want to talk to somebody, and I'm not good for that. I've got a lot of other people I can talk to, so. But yeah, I mean, I would highly suggest doing a Google form and putting it in your bio and going that route.
Oh, that is awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. Questions? Good. Thank you guys so much.
All right, guys.
We'll see you next month. Bye.
Great job.